Hi there, my name is Darren Jackson and welcome to the Bow Shop. All right, so this is the second step in the process. If you didn't check it out, make sure you get over and check it out. It's the last video in the series. We installed our VCon biscuit onto our Redemption EKO. All right, the next step is we are going to put our knock set on. This is where we're going to get just a little bit tricky, but not too bad. Once you get an eye for it, you'll see what I'm talking about. But what we're going to need for this is we're going to need the arrow that we plan on shooting. Okay, now I'm shooting a Victory VAP low torque. Okay, it's a narrow diameter. It's a 0.166 diameter shaft. So it's a skinny shaft arrow. I have to set my bow up with the skinny shaft arrow because it's going to change things when we move it around. So if you're using a standard shaft like a Carbon Express or a Beeman or something like that, or a standard Victory, make sure you're using that arrow to set your bow up. Two different ways we can run with this, and I'm going to use what's called a brass knock for right now. In a later video, I'm going to show you, and it's something I didn't tell you in the other video that'd be nice if you had in your repertoire, is a spool of serving, whatever color you like. I would recommend getting black, because black, almost all serving on all bowstrings is black. This is a dark green, it looks good. And you can see here I've got serving on a serving spool. The spool is not, the serving tool is not necessary at this point. You will need it if you decide you want to start changing your center servings out or changing your end servings out on your own. You will need a serving tool if you want to pick it up, but you don't need it just to get your bow set up. The other thing that I'm going to show you later is how to tie a string knock, which takes the place of the brass knock. Now the brass knock is a little bit heavier than a string knock. That's why we do that. Does it really make that big of a difference? I don't know. But, you know, what the heck. We're going to show you how to do it both ways. If you got any kids, if you help out around the neighborhood, you got any kids in the NASP, National Archery in the Schools program, they have to use a string knock anyway. So keep that in mind. It's a good idea for you to learn how to tie one on. We'll do that in another video though. For right now, we're just going to use a regular old brass knock. And what we do here is we just take the knock and we stick it on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the knock pliers and I'm just going to snug it just a hair so that it'll stay. Well, here, let me get it in this way. So that it won't slide up and down the string on its own, but I can move it. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is, and I'm going to try and turn this bow in the direction so you can see. Now, we're just going to do this by eye. Okay, so we hold our bow to where it's somewhat level. Okay, now you can see here that my arrow is pointing down. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to line it up with the burger button holes. This is another wonderful thing about having two holes, is we can line this up by eye and be really, really, really close. Okay. So all we're going to do is we're going to push this down. I'm going to say that that's pretty close. I got to turn this around so I can see it myself. That's pretty good right there. Okay? So I'm going to zoom into that right there, but you can see that I'm lined up pretty straight with the burger button holes. Okay, so you can see an equal amount on each hole is basically what I'm getting at by lining it up. All right, so Then we're going to take our nock pliers. We're going to carefully put them on here. And we're just going to snug that thing down so it won't move. All right. So that's how we get our elevation, the elevation portion of our center shot. That's how we gauge that. Now you might be saying, okay, they make a tool for that, Darren. Why not just use the tool? Okay, yes, they make a bow square. It's an extra tool that you don't need to buy. And the other thing is if you're out in the field and you drop your bow, you want to be able to learn how to check this real quick on your own to make sure that your center shot's in good shape. This is how you check it on your own. So just keep that in mind. If we learn to do this by eye, then when we're out in the field, it's not a big issue to turn around and double check our equipment to make sure it's in shooting order. The other thing too is somebody's going to say, well, the human eye isn't as accurate as a square. I'll give you that, but it's been told to me by traditional archers, and this is for straightening out wooden shafts, that the eye is good to within 1/64 of an inch. Okay, and some people can tell even smaller deviations from square than that. But 1/64 of an inch is pretty daggone small. The other thing too is we get this and we start shooting and we want to paper tune. Some guys, you guys are going to want to paper tune, or you're getting some erratic arrow flight. We've got adjustments. Okay, here's our left and right adjustment on the V-Con. Here's our up and down adjustment. So we can fine tune this to get it exactly where we want it later on. So for right now, let's do that. We can do all the fine tuning right at the very end once we get everything set up and we get this bow shooting, and then we can go from there. That is our elevation. That's how we get our elevation center shot. Okay, on our Redemption EKO. Very simple. We set our nock set. We used a brass nock, and we got it set up for our victory arrows. So that's pretty much it for that step. So let's move on. We're going to put a D-loop on next. I'll show you how to do that here. And one other thing too is, I'm going to say it in this video and I'll say it in the next video. Someone's going to say, well, if you're going to put a D-loop on, why are you putting on a nock set? And I'm not saying if, when your D-loop frays, okay, and you have to replace it, if I have a set nock set on here, okay, I don't have to go back. I know that my pins and my arrow and everything are set up exactly the way they're supposed to be. I can replace that D-loop 1,000 times, go out, shoot one arrow, it's going to hit right where I'm aiming. Whereas if I count on the D-loop, once I put the new D-loop on, then I've got to make sure, I've got to go out and practice and make sure that my D-loop is where it used to be and make some fine-tune adjustments. This way I don't have to do that. It's one more step that makes it easier for you down the road to make your experience that much better. So there you go. Do a string nock, brass nock, whatever you want to do. We did a brass nock here for ease. I'm going to show you how to do a string nock later. And that's it. And we're just going to move on to the next step in the thing. Well, I really hope you enjoyed that video. Like I said, we're setting up this Redemption, and it's going to take several videos. So if you want to make sure you don't miss any of the videos, hit that subscribe button. It's right there. Okay, subscribe now. That way you'll get notified every time the new video pops up, and you'll be able to see step by step what to do to get your bow set up. So if you like the video, hit me with a thumbs up. Don't forget to shoot me a comment on the video. I really enjoy the comments. I like to hear what you guys have to say, good, bad, or indifferent. And you know what? I'll see you next time. Thanks.